Come on. They're setting their course for the winner's circle here in Sarasota, Florida. The action's going to be bow to bow. It's going to be tight. It's going to be winner take all.
I'll guarantee you when we start the race, we're going to be right in between all of them, and we're going to take the lead.
The limits of mechanical speed and human endurance are about to be tested. Who will stay the course and walk away the winner?
I guess the smoke is going to clear, the dust is going to settle. We'll find out how fast really is in a little while.
The challenge has been accepted. While many will answer, only one can be victorious. The prize, the checkered flag. At stake, it's personal.
I'm going to beat them. I'm going to teach them a lesson. You know? They haven't raced that long. And they've got these fancy boats. One looks like a Batmobile. I think his name is Steele. And the other guy, Westbury from Texas, national champion last year.
The champions are here. Here to prove who has the fastest gun. Who's the best. Because here's where the best beat the best.
It's going to be a fast race today. It's nice and smooth out there, just like the Hulkster likes it.
Stay tuned for bow-to-bow action, because it's winner take all. It's going to be a showdown in Sarasota.
Showdown in Sarasota today. Be there.
The APBA, the American Powerboat Association, proudly presents professional powerboat racing. This week, the APBA presents Offshore Powerboat Racing. Stay tuned for all the thrills and chills of one of the most exciting sports on the water today, as you see head-to-head competition with the big deep V's and the catamarans race for the checkered flag. So stay tuned for more racing action, because the APBA means racing.
For racing today, it's the Suncoast Grand Prix. Today's broadcast brought to you by Continental Airlines. One airline can make a difference. And by Maris Integrated Systems. And by Royal Purple Racing, performance under pressure. And by Budweiser, and your local Budweiser distributor. And now let's join my partner as always. He's down where the action is. Here's Joe Gates.
Thank you, Steve. I'm down here in the pits in Sarasota, Florida for the fourth round of the 1993 APBA Offshore Racing Series. It's going to be an exciting day of offshore racing. The water's flat, and the catamarans will definitely have an advantage if the water continues to stay down. The speeds are going to be very excessive today. Should be some attrition on the water. Over 70 boats are here to show them who's boss. It's going to be a great day of APBA offshore racing. It's going to be a showdown in Sarasota. So stay tuned. We'll be back after these commercial words.
For the American Powerboat Association's Offshore 1993. And let's join Joe, the key official, prior to the start of the race today.
I'm with Mike Tomlinson, the APBA chief referee. Mike, we're here in Sarasota. It's round number 4. We've had a great race in Corpus Christi, Texas, a dynamite event in Atlantic City, and of course Oswego, a little bad weather there, but we're still here in Sarasota. It's the 4th event. What makes Sarasota so very special?
I'd say the history of the event. This is about the 10th year for Sarasota, and they've got a tremendous record of success on their events here. The whole town comes out to see the race, and the race committee will start working Monday after the race on next year's event. So they spend a lot of time with it and do a wonderful job.
They certainly do, Mike, and of course, as always, you and APBA officials do a wonderful job. This has got to be somewhat of a little bit of a headache. You've got a lot of boats here, a lot of spectators. Just how do you handle all that must be done?
Well, we have to get up early in the morning and we work late at night, but it's a pleasure to have these kind of problems, believe me. We've got 73 entries right now, and our entry list is still growing, and we're excited about it.
It's been a wonderful week, full of activities here in Sarasota, and Joe had a chance to look at this beautiful Gulf Coast community.
Sarasota, Florida, a veritable paradise, a traveler's vacation spot second to none. Accommodations, beauty, foliage, blue sky, and waterways abound in this beautiful Gulf Coast area. So come to the fun and the sun that is Sarasota, Florida. Another place you won't want to miss is famous St. Armand's Circle. Shopping, fine restaurants, beautiful foliage, and now boat racing comes to this area once a year in the annual Suncoast Offshore Grand Prix. The event benefits the Suncoast Foundation for the Handicapped and helps many thousands of children, as it has over the years. Thousands of people look forward to this event and make it a very special place to be during the 4th of July every year. Spectators, festivals, sun, sea, and sand are all part of Sarasota and this crown jewel on the Gulf of Mexico.
Water conditions on the Gulf today are expected to be both flat and fast. And Joe has a brief comparison of the types of hulls these boats will have on the water today.
Steve, I'm down in the hot pits just prior to race time. We always talk about the difference between a deep V and a catamaran. On my right, the deep V, advantage in big water. On my left, the catamaran. They like it flat. The speeds can be tremendous out of a catamaran, but the deep V has the advantage when the waves get big. We'll see what the race course holds today. Is it going to be the deep V day or the catamaran day? Back to you.
Thanks, Joe. It'll be a matter of time before we know who will have a faster hull, the catamarans or the deep Vs. And let's take a look at the 8 classes that'll be starting in the race this afternoon here in Sarasota. Take a look at the leaders. First of all, in the super class, the boat out of Fort Lauderdale, In Excess, has a victory this year in a second place and is leading in the points so far in the supers. Now here is the full field. Scarab Thunder, In Excess, and Hyperactive looking for their first win of the season. And in the next class, the open leader, Stuart Hyam, and he has 301 points so far this year. He has won 2 races in a row, and he will be challenged by the Budweiser. And as we look at the rest of the field today, these other boats looking for their first victory of the season. Let's go down and talk to the leader of this class, Stuart Hyam.
This is dream conditions. I think the course record, if I'm not mistaken, APBA course record is 109 miles an hour. I think it's probably JD and John D'Elia. And I think you probably could take bets. Someone will get that one today.
Well, a steady season so far for the crew out of Orlando, Florida, as Phantom Offshore currently the leader with 259 points. They've had a couple of thirds this year, but the boat to keep an eye on today will be the Agitator, as they have picked up a victory so far this year. As we look at this large modified field, let's go down now and join Alan Duttman, who is currently sitting in 3rd place in the standings.
3rd place does not make me happy at all. As our boat says, 2nd sucks. And 3rd is definitely out of the picture. So today we'll see how well Sonny Hawkins runs and how well M2 Airborne runs. And of course I have Phantom, I think, is leading right now. So I'll guarantee you when we start the race, we're going to be right in between all of them, and we're going to take the lead.
A lot of attention will be focused on this class today, the Pro Outboards, and your leader currently this year, Bill Westbury out of Houston, Texas, with 283 points. As we look at this full field, as you can see, P7 Patriot and P8 is Steel Lightning. Geodynamic Industries in P27, then Slick Talon 50 and High Risk in P71. As we look at the rest of the field, let's go down and join Joe with one of the drivers.
Geodynamic Industries and Polar Incorporated are environmental firms up in Michigan. And we've decided to race for the environment. And any prize money that we win, they'll match, and they give it back to the DNR up in Michigan to keep the Great Lakes clean, free, and the lanes clear of traffic for the freighters and that. So I feel we're giving something back for using the waters on the Great Lakes and or the ocean.
Another large field, Offshore Sea, and there you see the leader, Harry Perot. This boat out of New York, special edition with 250 points, and a boat to keep an eye on today is a brand new one that is just ready to hit the water for the first time, running wild. That'll be boat C67. Rumor has it that this boat is very fast. As we look at the rest of this very talented field, we had a chance to talk to Harry Perot down at the dock about the conditions out on the water today.
Well, I think it's going to be cat water out there today, Joe. So if barring any little gremlins that might be running around, I think we got a real good shot today.
Well, here's the largest field of boats of the afternoon, the Offshore Bees, and there you see your leader, Art Lilly, with 285 points. He's got a 1st and a 3rd this year. And as you look down at a very talented field, there's been a lot of talk going on between crews and drivers of exactly who is the best on the water. And we're going to find that out today with this very large field of boats. A lot of talent out there on the water as they head out now. The important thing to remember is all these boats are deep Vs, and it's going to be up to the crew to be able to navigate these boats the quickest through this very calm water out on the Gulf today. And Joe is down with Art Lilly.
We're going to push it wide open, Joe. It's catboat water out here, but we're running the V, and we have a lot of competition. I think we have 17 boats. Some of the fastest boats in the world are here today. We got to beat them all if we're going to take the flag.
CF Express, we talked to them earlier in the pits. They said your team couldn't measure up. Comments, Kirk?
Just tell them to bring it on.
Well, the stock outboards have 7 boats ready to go toe-to-toe on the water, and there you see your leader, Thin Ice, with 286 points. This boat out of Fort Myers is being challenged by Mobile One, who has also won a victory so far on the tour. And as we look at the rest of the field, remember, this is the stock class, not much modification allowed on these boats, so pure talent put together by the crews. And as we look at the final class of today, the Offshore A's, Patrick Patel. And these boats are the entry-level boats. And we take a look at a very large field, 14 boats ready to go on the water, and they just recently set a kilo record in this class, over 93 miles an hour. But the competition is the key here. As we talked about, Frank's Marine has won once this year. Lickety Split also with a victory. Fountain has picked up a second and a third, so they should be a big challenger. Let's join the crew of Frank's Marine.
And I'm looking forward for this race. Last year we led almost the whole race until we lost it in the last lap. But we're looking forward. It's a real nice race. It's a big event, and it's good for the sport. Everything's been real nice here, and you know, all the racers are really happy here.
Well, you've had a chance to take a look at the full field, and now we go down to Joe, my partner, as he goes dockside and explains to you the fine art of putting these boats into the water.
Thank you, Steve. I'm down here in the pits where all the action is just prior to race time. Some of the bigger boats, as you can see, are being craned into the water. Some are being craned out for the last-minute tweaking. The smaller boats, of course, they go on trailers. They're onto the ramps. It's going to be an exciting day of racing. We'll look forward to seeing you out on the race course.
Well, as we watch the boats heading out onto the race course, we'll come back to start this race off. The showdown will begin when we return right after this. As we watch the boats begin to mill out onto the go down and join Joe with John Kenyon, who's the chief inspector and starter of this race.
Well, we're going to have 4 starts. We'll have 2 pace boats and 4 starts, and probably have about 15, 18 boats per start.
John, the speeds are obviously going to be up. A lot of speed on the water, a lot of great professional boat racers here. We know you've been inspecting all through the day and, of course, yesterday. Any really exotic situations you've seen, some of these boats really have some hybrid power.
Oh, absolutely. We've seen all kinds of engine designs out here, superchargers, turbochargers, some of the big boats, very exotic, very expensive, and extremely fast.
Some new records being set in the previous kilo run, I hear. Can you tell us a little bit about those records?
Oh, yes. In the modified class, Sonny Hawkins set a record of 117. Last time he ran the boat, it was about 111 or 12, so obviously he's made quite a jump there. But I think the most phenomenal record was in the Sportsman A class. They set a record, let's see, what was it, 93.188 or something similar to that? And that ups the record from Gene Whipp's old record from 84. So that's quite a jump. That's not much of an entry-level class anymore.
Well, as the boats continue to mill, there you get a chance to see the spectator fleet. Now, there's thousands of fans on the beach, but my word, I don't think I've ever seen so many boats out on the water, Joe.
And we've got to start now. The first start of the day here in the 1993 Sarasota race. Open, modified, and the super boats are starting out. They're getting on plane. I'm noticing on the right-hand side of the screen, though, Steve, it could be a problem. Recovery. Stuart Heim, Bobby Moore, they look like they may have a problem. They're getting off plane and going back in.
What a shame for Recovery. Now, they've won 2 races in a row, and they lead the open class. And you got to keep the boat working in the water all season long to win the championship. Hopefully, they'll be able to get the gremlins taken care of here. As we watch the boat start to pick the pace up here, 3 abreast. Joe, we're getting set. This will be officially the first start of the afternoon, and here they come.
In excess, Scarab Thunder, a couple of big, powerful super boats taking the lead right now. They're really putting the hammer down and really showing some speed early on this flat water.
One of the many battles to keep an eye on today, Alan Duntman is right in the middle of the thick of it. As he said, he would be right there at that time. And Sonny Hawkins on the inside of the course is trying to challenge in the black M9.
Moving back out front, Scarab Thunder in the lead. In excess, pushing hard. Across the course, on the outside, Jeff Soper in Budweiser. He's making a move early.
Scarab Thunder and In Excess in a real giant duel for first place overall. And here comes Sonny and Tina Hawkins on the inside.
New power in this boat, and Sonny is demonstrating it right now. Hyperactive on the inside of him. He's showing some real power.
New leader up front as we take a look. It is the Budweiser RC Cola machine. Jeff Sofer and Vincenzo Poli with the lead.
Amazing speed on that boat already as we take a look at Numancia coming up on the inside. This is going to be a great race. This flat water is going to make these cats really walk.
And as they begin to walk away from our helicopter, there you see endangered species. The boat is a 7th place this year, and they're trying to improve on their mark in this modified class.
And good news, we see recovery. Stuart High and Bobby Moore, number 27 in the open boat, obviously solved their problem, got their problem taken care of, and they are really flying across this water.
Boy, Joe, they're way back away, so they're going to have to make up some speed quickly here. But this course, a long one, 18 miles, and they'll have a chance to race here for over 100 miles this afternoon on the Gulf of Mexico.
Word just in from race control. Bobby Moore and Stuart Heim just had a fire on board. They're 3 minutes behind, trying to catch up.
Start number 2, and the crew from Patriot on the inside trying to grab the lead, looking for their first win of the season. Now we go inside the cockpit of Steel Lightning. There we see the boat out of Jacksonville.
A lot of competition early in this field. As always, a lot of boats. There's a lot of controversy here. A lot of these drivers think they're number 1.
22 boats in the second start with the Pro Outboards and Offshore Sea. And as we watch some of the competitors come through, it's very important for not only the navigator but the driver to weave their way through tough traffic at the beginning.
Change order coming into our picture now. They had a little problem early. Look like they've got it fixed. They're moving well. Got to wish this boat good luck. They've had a long, long season. They need a win.
Good shot here, Joe. Look at the catboat and the calm waters. That's exactly what they want to see on the ocean today. And look at the spectators as the Budweiser comes by in the overall lead.
Inside of Hyperactive just blew him away. I tell you, Jeff Sofer is really driving a good race out there. These guys know what they're doing as we see Numancia coming right after him. It's going to be a very close race. These speeds are going to be excessive.
Numancia, that boat looking for its first win of the year in excess, as we talked about, 3,000 horsepower in that beautiful boat based in Fort Lauderdale.
It's great to see the classic battle, Deep V and the Catamarans on this slick water as we see Sonny Hawkins coming through in Flying Tiger, Tina Hawkins at the throttles. They're going to push. They're going to try and stay ahead because we know Agitator is out there somewhere. He's lurking. He wants this championship.
Here's Recovery. This boat, as we talked about, right now trying to gain some valuable time. This boat, by the way, set a kilo record at Lake X at over 157 miles an hour recently in testing.
Proving once again, Steve, while we're in the booth, we don't race. That's just too fast. Unbelievable speed for a boat on the water.
As we watch, utterly fantastic, the boat out of Kentucky coming through. There's endangered species. They've got the checkered flag on the paint scheme. They'd love to pick up a checkered flag today. And now we go back out front, Joe. Look at the racing going on with these two cats. Budweiser, RC Cola, just out front, but just barely.
Hyperactive trying to reel him in. This is really setting out to be a duel early on. First lap racing. You don't get any better than this, Steve. It's bow to bow.
Well, they talk about cat water, and that's exactly what we're seeing. A cat fight on the water right here. Calm water, the boat's perfectly trimmed to maximum speed here. And look at the Budweiser on the outside as we go almost inside the cockpit of Hyperactive.
Jeff Sofer looks like he may be pulling him a little bit. As we come up back to the start-finish line, Offshore B start here, we see on the inside B1, Art Lilly, Kurt Harbor. That's going to be a great race. That boat's doing well as we come inside on CF Express. This is a helmet camera, an unusual position to be in. We get to see the race course from the navigator's situation.
And as we see the menagerie of boats going through on this third start, here we go down to the far south side of the course. That's turn number 6 with our camera location. These boats making the turn here. And the Spirit of Houston, Bill Westbury at the controls. This boat has done very well this year with a second and a first, looking for their second straight win.
Being pushed hard by Ocean Outboard, P51. This is really going to be a duel in this Pro Outboard class, turning into a great race as we look at the new boat, as you mentioned at the top of the show, Steve, C67. That's running wild, and right now he looks like he's running away from this field.
That boat is doing tremendously well to start off this campaign here in 1993. Just the paint just drying on the boat. And here is Zubaz 777, always a boat up front.
Always a boat up front, and a great race we had recently in Atlantic City. They won that race. I would imagine they're trying to repeat. They want this victory here in Sarasota. A lot of these sea boats pushing hard. They're going to have some pushing to do to catch up with Running Wild.
And here is a new boat, Joe. This is Change Order out of Key West, Florida. John Peterson and Mike Horn. As they come through turn number 6, here comes the start, the final one of the afternoon. Start number 4, the Offshore A and the stock class.
Plum Loco making a move on the inside. Looks a little loco. He's doing a lot of dancing, a lot of chine walking out there, Steve. This is going to be a great race today.
And as our final group of competitors come by the start-finish line, there you can see the front part of the race course has really been churned up by all the boats coming through. They've got a long way to go on this first lap, and so do we here on the broadcast. We'll come back to this race from Sarasota when we return right after this. Time out. By Pepsi and by class boats, Nations Bank, and by Cellular One. And as we come back to racing action, Spirit of Numancia right now in second place, trying to move up. And there we see Art Lily in the B1.
Art Lily, Kurt Harbor, and Rodney Rudell leading in B right now, pushing hard, trying to figure out a way to handle this flat water. The Cats have the advantage here. So far, they're leading.
Offshore Drilling trying to move up in the Offshore C class. And in the B class, Power Play in second place, trying to catch Art Lily in that B61.
A lot of great competition early. A lot of good racing already on this race course. The B class, a lot of great racing in modified. Of course, the open class running wild, and the super boats.
And Joe Moore, boats coming through in the B class. There's Joanna and also Solid Gold Thunder going toe-to-toe.
Trying to reel in that leader, Art Lily. I'll tell you, that's going to be a real tough job. These deep Bs are running very well, even though the water's flat.
Going through tight corners here on this course. Here is the leader in the stock outboard class.
Mobile 1, S1, that's Robert Loeffler on board. He's always hot out here. That boat is really doing well.
Looking for another win this year. They won back in the second race of the year and wants to do it again. And here is S2. That is Team Florida, currently in second place.
As we take a look at the rest of the field coming through, these boats obviously not really running quite as well as they wish to, and of course maybe got a bad start. It's a long race. It's going to work out as we see Courageous Cat. He's in the stock class. That's a good boat, a little bigger boat. He may have a little help on the backside.
Well, Just Lucky Racing right now, that boat out of Fort Myers trying to move up. How about In Excess? This boat is flying on the race course. Currently in third, though, in the super class, but that boat is brand new and they're still dialing it in.
And here comes our overall leader and leading in the open class, the Budweiser boat, Jeff Sofer on board, really doing a super job. This big cat is showing us some speed on the water today, Steve.
And the crew looking very happy and confident, and Hyperactive coming by, your leader in the super class.
And running second currently in the open class, Numancia, the Spirit of Numancia. This boat is doing well, starting to move up on the field.
Trying to chase down the Budweiser, and here comes boat number 5. That's Scarab Thunder in second place in the super class. In Excess in third, right behind, trying to close the gap as they come around a very difficult corner.
A lot of great racing out here, Steve. Open boat, super class, just going to be bow to bow all day long. This flat water, these boats like it.
And the fans love it when this engine starts up in the pits.
Amazing boat to look at, and of course there's another amazing boat already made up a great deal of time. That's Recovery running very well, Stuart Heim on board. Here's another race developing, and it's been developing all year, Steve. It's Flying Tiger on the outside. It's Agitator on the inside. They're running bow to bow. It looks like Agitator's going to make a move on him, but it's too close to call. They're still bow to bow, Steve.
Both boats going right to the limit as they come by us on the start-finish line. Let's look at it one more time, Joe. Here's Alan Duntman on the inside, trying to find a way to get by Sonny and Tina Hawkins, but the fearless crew out of New York holding them off as they come by, and this just one lap down, and we've got a long way to go in this race.
A real family feud. Sonny and Tina Hawkins, husband and wife. Kurt and Alan Duntman, father and son.
Here's Endangered Species back in fourth in the open class, trying to reel in the leaders as these boats come by. Here is Art Gerard in Airborne. This boat fresh off of victory from Atlantic City.
Trying to reel in his competitors. They're leading him right now, but knowing these guys, they won't lay down easily.
Utterly fantastic going by, heading back out on the course, and some more racing and getting airborne and almost blowing it over on the backside.
Bill Westbury, Spirit of Houston. I want to tell you, this guy wants to win and win in the worst way. Right now, he's our points leader in pro outboard, but being heavily challenged by Tequila and other boats behind him, I know these guys want to win badly.
And back to the helicopter we go, Joe, as we watch Recovery. This boat, don't forget, was back as far as 3 minutes from the rest of the field on the start and already closing the gap. Look at it go past In Excess, which is stuck on the outside. On the inside, Recovery is really flying as it is right on the limit on the race course.
And more action in the pro outboard group, P51 Ocean Outboard trying to reel in Spirit of Houston. This is really exciting racing. Patriot P7 right on his hip. And part of the grudge match, Alan Steele, Rick Felson, and of course Rick said the Spirit of Houston didn't have what it took. It looks like he may have it.
Joe Moore battles on a race course, Offshore Sea, the battle for first. How sweet it is, too, and running wild. They're going side by side. Now we go back into the cockpit of Alan Steele and Steel Lightning.
High risk. Rick Felson on the left side of the picture. This is really going to be exciting. We're going to take a look at it in slow motion, Steve. Just look at the competition level here. P71 on the inside, high risk. There's Steel Lightning being passed, but just slightly. This is going to be a real fight no matter what position they're in.
This dicing has been going on since the start of the race, and there we see Special Edition sitting in third right now at Offshore Sea. And back to Recovery. This boat has come a long way. We've talked about them since the opening flag when they had a terrible start. They finally were able to dial up the engines to 10/10, and that's exactly where they are right now. Again, they continue to close up near the leaders.
So far, no one's really challenged Budweiser, though. The leader in the open class and our overall leader, Hyperactive, right on his hip. This is really great racing. It's bow to bow, stern to stern.
On the backside of the course here, again, the Cats are ruling this afternoon with this very small wake, and the drivers are really going almost to the limit of these boats the way they've been designed, perfect in testing. And there you can see the difference between the V's as they work their way around this 180-degree corner. They're having a tough time making it through smoothly.
Catamaran's just sliding through it, really taking nice air. The boat's light in the water. These are really, really great pictures. There we see In Excess. He seems to be doing a little bit better taking these corners. A lot of power in that boat.
Well, Joe, that crew nice and dry. It looks like a hard top out there racing against all the convertibles.
Here's an exciting race, continues to develop all day long. Sonny Hawkins, Tina Hawkins, Agitator on the outside. This is Alan and Kirk Dunneman. This is going to be a great race. This modified class really turning into a highly competitive race as we see him take him into the corner. It looks like Alan may have a little better speed on the inside.
Alan Duttman now getting a chance to pull away very slowly from Flying Tiger, but Sonny and Tina Hawkins have not given up. And Alan Duttman said that he was going to win on the race course today.
Agitator is definitely going to take the checkered flag in Sarasota today.
Unfortunately, Tina Hawkins and Flying Tiger did not agree with Alan Duntman's prediction.
Well, they're going to have to be after us because hopefully we're going to be ahead of them.
Well, one thing to say it in the pits, it's the other to put the action on the water, and right now it looks like Flying Tiger has gone back out in front. What a great battle with this pair.
It's going to be toe-to-toe all day long. Of course, both these crews, great friends, but when they're on the water, they take no prisoners. They're no friends during a race.
And, Joe, as we shift our attention to the south side of the course, here comes Airborne. And this boat has been struggling today. Not their regular power. They're back in third place. They've got to be disappointed with the effort so far.
Yeah, generally they like to run up in front, just like this boat. Spirit of Houston, Bill Westbury, Roger controls. US 1, they are the champions. They're the boat to beat. And right now, Tequila is right on their hip. This is a very good race in Pro Outboard. As we see Ocean Outboard P51, he's challenging them as well.
And Ocean Outboard currently in third position. Patriot back in fourth, trying to close up into the top three. And here comes High Risk. In boat number 71, they are back in sixth place.
Rick Felson, who laid the gauntlet on him at the pits, he said the challenge was up. He didn't think Bill Westbury and Alan Steele had what it took. It looks like certainly Bill Westbury's got what it takes.
Here's Red Crane coming around on the far side of the course. Now our leader in Offshore B, CF Express. This crew goes by looking for their second win of the season. We go on board with this boat right now, Joe, and look at the spray and look at the attention. You can see the navigator working with the driver.
Helmet camera, unusual point of view here. We hope our viewers love it. We see the helicopter. We've got a helicopter camera on board. We've got two cameras matching each other. This is really exciting racing.
And here are the Baker brothers out of Port Huron, Michigan going by. And then, of course, this boat, the Mellons. Terry Hill and Wendy Carroll at the controls.
Here's a race developing between classes, a B boat and a C boat, but this is exciting, Steve. This is bow to bow. It doesn't get any closer than this.
As you can see them, they're neck and neck coming by us very close to the start-finish line, and you can almost touch the paint as they go by.
And running in third place in the B class, number 44 Triton, a 31-foot Aerotech, two 550-horse engines. This is a real good boat.
Undertaker in fourth position in the Offshore B, and in fifth, the Spirit of Naples whistling by.
And our current leader in stock outboard coming by start-finish, Robert Loeffler in Mobile 1. And now the rest of the B class comes through. A large class of competitors here. These boats are really trying to reel in the leader. They've got a long way to go and a lot of ground to make up. It will remain to be seen if they can close that gap. Here is a boat on the outside of our course right now that may be closing the gap. S2, Team Florida, pushing hard and trying to catch Mobile 1 in the stock class, as is S12, Thin Ice. This could develop, Steve, into a real dogfight.
Well, the challenge for the lead in Offshore A is still up for grabs. Scott Free barely hanging on right now. Right behind is boat number 5. That's Archer Marine Special. That boat, by the way, Nigel Hook at the control, just set a kilo record, well over 93 miles an hour in this class.
Plum Loco on his hip, and right behind Frank's Marine, there's no fear. A lot of competition in the A boats today, Steve.
Well, there you see Tequila in a tremendous battle going toe-to-toe with the Spirit of Houston out on the open water. We go back to our helicopter shot. There's Bill Westbury at the controls trying to hold off Tequila. But Tequila's moving in on the right hip, closing the gap, itching its way faster and faster on the outside, ready to take over the lead.
Two men on board, Hialeah, Florida, Jesus Lecrow, and at the throttle, Pedro Peraza out of Brick, New Jersey. Bill Westbury and Roger have got all they can handle right now.
Raja Rogers, who likes to race tunnel boats as well as offshore boats, really pounding it to the water right now, but Tequila is finding better water and now slowly working its way now up even keel and now challenging for the lead.
It looks like he may have the power to pull him. We'll have to wait and see. This is exciting offshore racing, APBA style.
These boats on the backside of the course, you can see the rest of the boats going through on the other side, now making a slight turn. It's a dogleg here. As they work their way back toward the beach, the action continues out here on the Gulf as Tequila moving away from the Spirit of Houston.
Can Tequila hold on to the lead? Can Bill Westbury from the state of Texas regain the lead? Stay tuned. We're going to find out right after these commercial words.
Sarasota today for the Suncoast Offshore. And back out on the course, the overall leader and leader in the open class, the Budweiser.
Richie Powers in Scarab Thunder leading in the Superboat class. And right on his hip, the great story of the day, 27 Recovery, has now passed Numancia. He's in second place in the open class here in Sarasota.
And as we watch the big boats come by, In Excess, the boat out of Fort Lauderdale, trying to close the gap, currently back in second in the super class. And here is the great battle in the modifieds. Flying Tiger out of New York.
Obviously took over that position from this boat, Agitator Steve. It's been bow to bow. They've been trading blows all day.
Endangered Species sitting in fourth in the open class, going by the start-finish line one more time. As other boats now starting to be lapped, here comes the leader in the pro outboard class, Tequila, holding off right behind a Spirit of Houston, and they're trying to close on the inside. But I'll tell you something, Tequila likes the outside of the course and is currently out in first.
And in third place right now, Ocean Outboard P51. That pro outboard class is definitely heating up. There's 1, 2, 3, and hardly a matter of seconds between all three boats.
These boats that cost well over $100,000, 30 to 40 feet long, out there running as they're perfectly trimmed. And coming by now is the leader in Offshore. See how sweet it is, too. And let's join Carlton Myers and Jim McIntyre right in that cockpit.
Really gives the viewer a sense of what it's like to be in one of these race boats when you look through these high-tech canopies.
Here comes Alan Steele and Steel Lightning in the pro outboard class, but right behind him is Running Wild as they try to close in on how sweet it is, too, in Offshore Sea. And now let's go on board with Alan Steele.
And we see Alan being tossed around a lot. He's pushing this boat hard because even though the race is between Spirit of Houston and Tequila, high risk is right on his hip, and he definitely wants to beat Rick Felson. Rick is the man who told him they didn't have what it takes.
Geodynamic Industries going by this boat out of Michigan, and a beautiful paint job of Ocean Outboard as they whistle by at Offshore Sea.
A lot of competition in all classes. There's some more competition. Special Edition C49. He's trying to make up some ground. Harry Perot on board.
Here comes the Hara Zubaz 777 boat out of New Jersey, normally in the top 5, not there right now. And now we're getting word that Slick 50 Talon's got a problem on the water. Joe earlier had a chance to talk with the crew.
Closer. We're going to have a good race today with the pro stock class. I think there's about 12 boats in our class. Tight crew. Everybody's right there. You got Steel Lightning. You got Bill Westbury, Ocean Outboard. You got Rick Felson. But I think you're going to see Slick 50 near the top all day long, and hopefully by the end of the day we'll be on top.
Well, they didn't turn out to be on top as they struggled through the water. And Joe, of course, the boat's pushing 10 tenths. They can really fly through this calm water, but also it's easy to stress the engines past their limit.
Stuart Hyman Recovery coming through turn 6, maintaining a good pace out there and making up some ground. Scarab Thunder, number 5. He's still in the lead in his class.
You can see those deep V's struggle around the corner. Here comes Spirit of Numancia in boat number 111. They're currently sitting back in third in the open class. And In Excess comes by in second place now in the super class. Hyperactive has gone out of this race.
Unfortunate development for Hyperactive. They were really running the course well. And here's a change we just been reported. Agitator has taken over the lead and modified just a little bit in front of Flying Tiger. That's Sonny and Tina Hawkins.
And this lead could change in a flick of an eyelash. Right behind Agitator is Flying Tiger. Now we zoom in on that boat from New York. Going to the outside, trying to hold on to that clear water. They led for the first 2 laps, but now they've fallen back to second.
And here's another second-place boat, Running Wild, C67, doing very well and trying to close the gap on how sweet it is, too.
And they are closing the gap. Word is they're itching their way slowly but toward the front again. And there you see Alan Steele in Steel Lightning. And here is Tequila and their tremendous battle going out of the water with the Spirit of Houston. Tequila, we saw him make the pass, and now we watch the two cats come around a very tough corner as they head back out onto this race course.
And Steve, Spirit of Houston seems to be closing a little ground, as does this boat, Ocean Outboard.
The top three right there, and there you see your leader in Offshore. See how sweet it is, too, navigating their way around this tough water.
An awful lot of competition out here, an awful lot of bow-to-bow racing. There's C67 trying to close in on how sweet it is, too. Looks like he's gaining ground. This could be a real catfight all the way to the finish in 3 or 4 classes.
You can tell with our helicopters that this is the class to keep an eye on. Now we go almost into the cockpit of Running Wild.
They are really getting that boat dialed in. Right behind them, Ocean Outboard C77. They're doing a super job. That boat used to running in front, probably not too happy. C49 right behind them, Special Edition. The good doctor on board, Phil Vaculo, out of New York State.
And right behind him is Ragamuffin, now in the top 5. This boat has come all the way from the West Coast to go racing here this weekend in Florida. And Joe earlier had a chance to talk to Harry Perot.
Well, I think it's going to be catwater out there today, Joe. So if barring any little gremlins that might be running around, I think we got a real good shot today.
Boats are going to be very fast today. Attrition will play a part in this race.
We're going to push it right to the limits. That's my job, put the throttles down, and we're going to do our best at it.
Well, they are in the top 5, as this boat is, Ragamuffin. As they go down the backside of the course, again, back to Steel Lightning. A beautiful concept with this boat, and this boat is lightning fast in testing, and it's fast out on the water today. And earlier, Joe had a chance to talk with Mark France, the leader in Offshore B, driving CF Express.
Well, it's going to be a drag race out here today, Joe. We've got 16 boats in the field. We had 14 in Corpus, and they're all very competitive again, a lot of the same guys. And we were just talking about the strategy in a very smooth water race. You've got temperatures that are going to be in the 95, 96 degree range. And if you want to hammer it down from the start, I don't think a lot of boats are going to handle the heat, and they're not going to finish.
And here's your overall leader of the race and leader in the open class. The Budweiser just set the fastest lap of the race at well over 106 miles an hour, and teetering toward disaster is this boat, Mobile One.
Just about lost it there, but great handling, brought it back in line. Scarab Thunder coming through, still leading in the super class. A lot of action on the water today. Right behind him, and a man that's a real story, recovering from that fire. S2 pushing hard, trying to catch Mobile One. Thin ice just passing on the inside. It doesn't get any better than this. This is bow-to-bow racing.
And you can see the chop being developed here at the start-finish line. These boats are really turning it up. Well over 70 boats on hand today here on the Gulf of Mexico. Here in Sarasota, Spirit of La Mancha coming by, and an Agitator in this huge battle with Flying Tiger.
Flying Tiger, of course, Sonny Hawkins, Tina Hawkins, they've really done a good job this weekend. Set a new world's record in modified class in the kilo. That boat's got a lot of power.
And here they come, whistling by, no more than 10 seconds behind the leader. How sweet it is, too, leading in the C class.
And still holding off the challenge of Running Wild. This boat really doing a great job. We'll see if he can maintain that lead, because we're going to be back with more racing from Sarasota, Florida, right after this timeout.
Class lead, CF Express, this boat leading in the Offshore B class. Mark Franz out of Capistrano, California. Now as we zoom in, we take a look at recovery. This boat has come back from the farthest in the field, trailing by as much as 3 minutes, has really closed the gap and now challenging for the lead in the open class, right behind the Budweiser. Here is Scarab Thunder, your leader in the super class, going around a very difficult turn on this course. And in excess, this boat now currently second in the super class.
Ted Savarese, Rick Savarese, and Trace Martin on board doing a super job holding that boat on that flat water. Here's another boat doing a good job all day long. He's been out in front in A class. That's Scott Free Racing. Right behind him and closing ground, Archer Marine, Nigel Hook. This is the boat that set the world record, Steve. This boat is a very fast boat. Can he catch Scott Free Racing?
And here comes Frank's Marine, the boat out of Miami, who was last year's 1992 national champion in that class.
In Pro Outboard, Bill Westbury and the Spirit of Houston, they've grabbed the lead. Tequila is in second place, fighting hard. Ocean Outboard now in third place. They're doing a good job trying to close that gap. It's a tough job. Bill Westbury is a front runner.
And right behind Ocean Outboard is Patriot in fourth place. That's where they've been sitting all day long. They can't solve the puzzle to get into the top 3 right now.
Another woman on board, Lisa Greger, doing a great job. That's a new boat. They're going to get that boat dialed in.
And how sweet it is, too. Currently the leader in Offshore C.
State-of-the-art boat, canopies, safety cell. It's really a good-looking boat. Right on his hip, running wild. C67. There's only a matter of seconds between both of these boats, Steve.
Well, Joe, we look down this massive spectator fleet, and it reminds us this is the 9th time they have held this race. It benefits the Suncoast Foundation for the handicapped. And Joe now is down with race director Don Fisher.
They've kind of called us the Indy 500 of offshore, and we've worked hard at that, and particularly the city and the county, and we have over 2,000 volunteers that help put this on. It's as you've seen, I think this is your first real inkling to what goes on behind the scenes here, and we're real proud of what we do here, and we take such tremendous pride, the community. I mean, everybody, you know, myself, I am fortunate enough to be able to tell you about this, but it's all the people, our sponsors, and everybody that gets behind us, and that's why it's a tremendous event, plus it raises tons of money for handicapped children in our community.
Back on the race course, seconds away from victory, here is your overall winner of the day. He set the stage, Budweiser.
Jeff, what a fantastic run today.
Yeah, it was. It was tremendous. The boat really handled well. We got some engines in there that I think are going to be part of the future in offshore racing. The boat has a tremendous amount of acceleration, and just really everything worked. And we went out front early and we stayed out there, you know.
Vincenzo, how was it for you? I know there was no problem at all. The competition seemed to be looking at your stern all day long.
Yeah, it was no problem. It was a racing they did from the beginning, and so we didn't have to push all the way along the race, and it was quite an easy race.
And the feature story of the day was this boat, Recovery, finishing second in the open class and second overall, and Joe is with Stu.
Stuart Heim, a great recovery, and of course the name of the boat, Recovery. Too bad on the start, nearly 3 minutes before you could get the boat up and going.
It was almost a great recovery. We had some problems at the start. We had a fire on the way out to the milling area, a couple other things, and as you said, we started 3+ minutes behind. We wound up 21 seconds behind at the end, so it was almost a great recovery.
And the winner in the super class was Scarab Thunder, and Joe is down with the crew.
Richie Powers and crew, you've done it again. You've just won the super class here in Sarasota, Florida.
4 for 4, 4th of July, 4th victory with Omar, and man, we can't say enough. The boat just ran perfect. We thank Wellcraft, Alan Fraser, McCruiser. Everything was just phenomenal. When you got this kind of equipment, after a race like this, all you can do is look for a fountain to drink out of.
Omar, I can't believe you said that, but good line. Omar, you're getting to be an old hand at this. You got some great teachers here.
Yeah, that was a really good, fun race. We're running next to the cats, and the weather was perfect for that. We don't get that chance every day, and we really showed that a V-bottom triple engine could really follow those guys, and we did, and some of them are still back there turning somewhere.
The premier cat race of the day was between Agitator and Flying Tiger, and Alan Duntman came home #1.
Yes, it feels good to win in Sarasota, especially it feels good to win all the time. But Sarasota, I was telling someone earlier, was my first win in offshore racing. It was in '85 in Sarasota, so it's good to win here again.
Well, of course, you had a lot of competition out there. You always do. Everybody guns for you, but you did seem to have your way there at the last.
Yes, as luck would have it, why I think Flying Tiger started having some engine problems. Today was tough on engines because they were running them full throttle all the time. And unfortunately, I think he had some engine problems, he had to slow down. We had a heck of a race going there for the first 3 or 4 laps, though, and it was fun.
Bill Westbury and the Spirit of Houston battled all day long with Tequila and finally came up with a big win.
We're in the winner's circle here in Sarasota with the winner in Pro Outboard. It is Spirit of Houston, Bill Westbury. Bill, a lot of competition in your class. A lot of the guys said you couldn't do it. People like Rick Phelps and Alan Steele said you didn't have what it took.
Well, Joe, thanks. The Hooters of Spirit of Houston brought us another first place.
Now, Pro Outboard one more time showed that it's downright good racing. We had a race from the beginning to the end. There was somebody either beside us or in front of us or behind us all race long.
At Offshore Sea, Running Wild got the lead back in the very last lap to come away with the victory.
Well, I'll tell you, John Kiley and Kiley Racing built an extremely good boat. The engines ran flawless. The boat ran great. John did a tremendous job on the wheel, and for me, I just put the throttles wide open and just crack them to breathe from time to time. The water was flat, and all there was to run it. That was it. The boat ran great.
Well, you know, John, it does seem that the water did really favor your kind of boat today.
Yeah, we're hoping actually to be a little bit more rougher, but we're really glad with the way it turned out.
CF Express and Offshore B led wire to wire for the win.
We won the B class, Joe. This is a dream come true. I really wanted this race. First thing I'd like to say is happy 4th of July, America. And we love you. And tell my family back home hello, and thank Wellcraft for all their support helping us get new motors ready. And get us all dialed in. This is like a hometown race here, and I guess we had 3 well crafts in the race and 3 first place, which you can't beat, so it's sort of a scarab day.
In stock outboard, Mobil 1 held off first Team Florida and then Chiller to capture the victory.
Robert Loeffler in Mobil 1. You've done it again, another checkered flag.
Yeah, it was a good race and a close race, and it's our 3rd win in a row right now with Mobil 1, so we're real happy with that.
Well, of course, the sponsors, great support for you, but you and, of course, Cindy are working very hard. The program's working for you.
Yes, we are. We've been doing a lot of work and a lot of preparation. We're getting the boat running. We were lucky this morning. It wasn't running. We had a trim pump go out and got the boat in the water about 11:15 and ran perfect all day.
In the final class of the day in the Offshore A, the crew from California, Archer Marine Special, comes away with a victory.
It was a good weekend. It was a long trip out here, coming from California, but everything worked out really well. I'm very pleased with Wellcraft that it happened in their backyard.
Well, of course, Nigel, your speeds in the kilo, unbelievable. Over 90 miles an hour, a new world's record.
The boat was rigged by the best. It's rigged by Archer Marine, and it just was a really easy job, really, to race it.
Well, as the crews begin to celebrate and pop the victory cork, let's go back down to my partner. Here's Joe Gates.
Thank you, Steve. It's about time for our awards presentation here in Sarasota, Florida. It's been an exciting weekend of APBA offshore racing. The fans have been great. We're here at the quay in Sarasota for the awards presentation. The volunteers have done a wonderful job. Mother Nature cooperated. The water was blue, and so was the sky. It's just been a terrific weekend. Back to you, Steve.
Well, Joe, as the crowd begins to gather for the celebration, a very special gift by the victory team, the United Arab Emirates. It was a $50,000 gift to the foundation. And now let's go down and join my partner. He's with the Vice President of APBA Offshore.
I'm with Jim Brown here in Sarasota. Jim, Sarasota, what can you say? It just keeps getting better.
The people in Sarasota really put on a good race this time, as they always do. We continue to increase our numbers in Sarasota. We had 75 race teams here, and it was a real eventful weekend. We had kilo runs, we had a local amateur race, and then on to the Grand Prix, which was a tremendous success. Everybody really enjoyed it.
9 years in a row, one would think, how can it get better? I can't imagine how, but it did.
Well, actually, they're already planning for it to get better next year. The 10th year anniversary, I understand, is going to be a real big bonanza, and we're looking forward to that. Right now, we're looking forward to moving on and going to marathon racing, and then on to New Orleans and Galveston, Texas. So we've got a lot of racing still to look forward to this year.
Well, and we hope every venue can be as lovely as this one. Halfway home, halfway to go in 1993, Joe. It's been tremendous so far.
Sarasota, as always, lived up to every expectation. A great day of APBA offshore racing. We'd like to thank Don Fisher, Kevin Brown, Ron Hicks, the Sarasota Offshore Racing Association, and, of course, the volunteers and our sponsors, without whom we couldn't have APBA offshore racing.
For Joe Gates, I'm Steve Michaels saying thanks for joining us. The racing was great here from Sarasota. So long, everybody.
This has been a Gateway production in association with the American Powerboat Association.